Okay, alright.
Hey guys, you know what, I'm not even gonna say anything. Let's just get straight to the point. Let's go.
Hi, this is Kurt with Autel Consultancy. How can I consult you today?
Yeah, so I've got a 2015 Duramax. I'm trying to reprogram the fuel injectors. I've got a Maxxis CV, and I'd called in earlier, and the guy said I had to update the machine, so I paid $1,248 and updated this tablet. Now it doesn't tell me where I can reprogram the injectors, the brand new injectors.
All right, you guys. That's about $1,200 down the drain. All right. This happens quite often. I get probably one of these once a month, and it's really unfortunate because it can be solved if the support technician would take the extra step to understand what the client is going through. Okay, and also as a customer, I guess you guys don't know what questions to ask to get the information that you're looking for. Okay, so what I want to do is share with you what the framework that I do for my clientele. So if you sell the tool, I highly recommend using this process. It will prevent you from getting angry customers. And if you are out of an update and you're looking to, get another update to fix or make sure there's a software function on there that will help you, you should pay attention to what I'm about to show you. All right, so what I'm going to show you today is how to verify if an update will have the special function that you're looking for. Okay, for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Curtis Harden. I'm an independent Autel diagnostic consultant. So what I basically do is I align the client with the right tool, I sell the tool, and I render the support that you're going to see in this video. Okay, so here is what you're going to learn by the time you end this presentation. You're going to understand some important terms related to GM injector flow rate programming, how not understanding the correct procedure that can be very costly. Third, how GM uses the term programming and what they really mean. Fourth, the correct procedure after you replace the injector. And lastly, the process on how to verify if an update will add the feature that you're looking for. Okay, so here are some terms, guys, and this is extremely important. Okay, and this is regarding GM's repair information. So anytime you see the term SPS, that stands for Service Programming System. This means that component or module needs to be flash programmed. Okay, so it's a three-step process where you buy their subscription, you have your Windows laptop, and you get your JBox, and then you run their programming software to flash programming. When you see SPS, that's what it means, flash programming. When you read the repair information, and let's say you see the term programming, okay, when you see the term programming, what this means is they're trying to change a parameter on a particular component. Okay, now how you change it can kind of tell you if it's actually a coding procedure, which is the next category. So what coding is, it's used to configure adaptive data for vehicle control modules after repairs or replacements of vehicle parts with a scan tool. Okay, so when you see something where they'll say, okay, you need to do a teach-in, a relearn, adaptations. If you, let's say, program a module and you need to do a parameter reset, those are coding features, and they don't use that terminology, but that's what they mean. Okay, in this case study, I'm going to show you a manual input coding procedure and how we code these injectors. Okay, so in essence, I want you, when you see programming in the repair information, read through it to see if it's actually a coding procedure. I'm going to show you my thought process on how I do that. Next is injector flow rate programming. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, each injector is, let's say, each injector's flow rate information and on sealer position are stored in the memory of both the glow plug control module and the engine control module. Okay, now when you need to do the injector flow rate programming, you need to do this when the ECM is replaced, when the glow plug control module is replaced, or if you have any fuel injectors that have been replaced. You need to run injector flow rate programming. Okay, take note of that. All right. Next is the glow plug control module. So it's basically, a glow plug is a heating device in each cylinder in a engine that helps the engine to start. Okay, it requests information from the ECU, such as the speed, the coolant temperature, and the amount injected fuel to the exact desired glow plug voltage. Okay, so what I want to do now, guys, is I'm going to actually share with you the recording of that client, or he's actually a customer. He's not my particular client, but I want to share this with you. And I'm just going to give you my input through the dialogue. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll the tape.
Hi, this is Kurt with Autel Consultancy. How can I consult you today?
Yeah, so I've got a 2015 Duramax. I'm trying to reprogram the fuel injectors. I've got a Maxis CV, and I'd called in earlier, and the guy said I had to update the machine, so I paid $1,248 and updated this tablet. Now it doesn't tell me where I can reprogram the injectors, the brand new injectors.
All right, let me pause it here. When I hear the term reprogram, you know what this means for me? Reprogramming is when, let's just say you have a customer that they came in and their transmission wasn't shifting right. So you scan the vehicle, you get an error code on the transmission, and you look up the technical service bulletin, and it says if your client is having shifting issues, then a flash programming procedure or reprogramming will fix that issue. So in essence, you're just updating the calibration file that's on an existing module. That's reprogramming. And I think maybe he was looking, maybe he thought his tool had that capability where he could flash it or something like that, you know. But that, I just want to clarify that terminology because we use it very, you know, loosely.
Who did you? Okay. You probably got my number from my YouTube channel.
Yep.
All right. To reprogram, there's a difference between programming and coding. I just need to validate what you're trying to do. Programming is when we connect the J2534 to a Windows 10 laptop and we download the manufacturer's programming software, and then it'll inject their software into that file. That's programming. Coding is when you use your scan tool to configure a module. Like if you're writing a VIN, relearning, adapting, anything that has to do with configuring a component, that's a coding procedure. So, so are you able to decipher which procedure you need?
Well, I've got brand new injectors, and they don't have I need to set the flow rates.
Okay, so I think that's a coding procedure. All right. When you asked the guy, all right, did you give him the year, make, and model of your vehicle?
Yep. And he pulled up the Maxis CV that I had.
Mm-hmm.
He says, well, you'll be able to do that. All you have to do is pay for your updates. So I paid for the update. It didn't change anything.
All right. So the support technician, in my opinion, should have took the step to actually log in his device at that moment. Okay? Let me give you an analogy, guys. If you're sick, all right, you can't, like, if you have a serious problem, you can't call a doctor and kind of give him your symptoms over a phone. He needs to check before he subscribes you something. Okay? If he's doing this, consultation over the phone without, like, using his tools to analyzing you, I mean, he could give you something that could kill you. Okay? And I feel that that's what happened. The tech support technician didn't really, dig deep to find the root of his problem. So he just gave him a quick remedy, and that was on the cost of the customer. Okay? So I think that extra step could have avoided a lot of these things. He could have seen, what his core issue was. All right, let's move on.
I still don't have that option on here. It says injector flow rate programming, but it doesn't program anything. All it does is ask for the serial numbers that are on the injectors.
Okay, so this guy, I'm sure he's experienced, okay? And I know we're busy, but what I'm finding a lot now in terms of coding and programming, if you don't read the service information thoroughly, you run into a lot of situations like this. You misinterpret what they mean, and you're looking for something that, could be a waste of money. Like, he didn't have to flash program anything. Okay, and I'm going to share that with you guys later.
So can't you look at the injector and then manually put it in there?
The injector, I've got the injectors identified. Each one of them have a separate identifier. So I've got each one for all 8 cylinders identified. But it won't start because the injectors don't have a flow rate. So I've got fuel to the injector and it's just dead till you give it a flow rate.
All right, so he has an underlying issue. Okay, based on what he said, it looks like he did the procedure fine. All right, and as I said, if the service technician would have logged in to kind of see what he was going through, maybe he could have helped him pinpoint what that underlying condition was that was preventing the car from starting. Okay, you can't do that over the phone, in my opinion.
Okay, so you're saying when you go into, like, the special functions, there's no options to code those injectors, or it gives you a value to put input, but you don't know what to put in there?
It does. I can't get to a point where it says program or reprogram injectors. I don't know what screen that is. So I go to the hot buttons and go to injectors. And it gives me exhaust after treatment fuel injector, exhaust after treatment fuel injector flow test, in fuel injection correction reset, injector flow rate programming.
That's what we need?
Which was what I thought it would be, but it doesn't get us to anything to program or do anything. And it's got a reductant injector or a reductant injector reset. Those are the only options that this thing gives me.
Yeah, I you know what? I don't work for them, so I can't validate.
I'm sorry.
Their information.
I missed them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. This is what I do for my clients, and you can do this in the future. You need to give them a VIN number.
Yes.
And then you need to say, look, I need you to validate this by an engineer. They don't have access to the engineers.
All right. Let me go back. They actually do have access to it. Okay. It's just that I guess they probably don't have a system, or you know what it is? I think they just they just don't take the time to do it. They do have access to an engineer, but they just, I don't know, they don't take the extra step. But if you give them the VIN number, okay, they can get at least 99.9% accuracy that whatever function you're looking for, they'll be able to validate it. If you don't provide them a VIN, there's a possibility that you might not have that feature. Okay, so get the VIN number, give them the VIN number of the car, tell them to write down what special function that you're looking for, and if the update will, you know, provide that functionality. Okay, that's the process that I would do. Okay, so that's basically what I'm going to show you guys now. Step 1, validate the client's concern. So if this was my client, this is exactly what I would have done. Okay, we need to determine if it's a programming or a coding procedure. Okay, so I would have the client pull up the repair information and I'll go over it with him. So this is injector flow rate programming. Okay, with the scan tool installed, enter the vehicle information and select the following options: engine control module, module setup, injector flow rate programming, display ECM, GPCM, injector flow rates. So this is kind of telling me that we can actually go to our scan tool and go to the control unit and kind of go to special functions, and you'll kind of have the same function routes. Okay, so this is screaming coding procedure. Okay, record all the flow rates numbers with the corresponding cylinders from the control modules. If any injectors are replaced, go to injector flow rates parameter and enter the flow rate number of the new injector to the corresponding injector. Okay, so this is still telling me, you know, the function route where to go. You can do this on your scan tool. Okay, the flow rate numbers will automatically update both control modules. Okay, if the ECM was replaced, go to copy. So this is just telling us what to do depending on which module that we put on. If the GPCM was replaced or the flow rate numbers are not the same for both modules, go to copy. All right, so this is just giving us different scenarios depending on which module we put in. Flow rates to the GPCM parameter and reprogram the GPCM. This will update the GPCM and the ECM flow rate numbers. If both control modules were replaced, go to reprogram injector flow rates parameter and enter the previous recorded flow rate numbers retrieved from each individual injector to the corresponding injector. So there's no indication that this needs to be flashed. All right, all this stuff, from what I'm understanding, you could do this on your scan tool. All right, and all we have to do, it says, we just need to do the reprogram injector flow rate. That's all I'm getting. That we just need to find that on a scan tool. So this, in my opinion, is a coding procedure. All right, and just to show you what a programming procedure is, let's just imagine you had a glow plug control module that you need to replace. Okay. Glow plug module setup. The following service procedures require either a programming or a setup event performed for a complete repair. If the GPCM is replaced, the following procedures must be performed. Enable GPCM programming. Refer to service programming SPS system. Okay, that's flashing. That's a flash procedure. And then the follow-up procedure is injector flow rate reprogramming for fuel injector flow rate programming. So why don't they have SPS on that second one? Okay, that's another indication that it's a coding procedure. Okay, and then the setup or component replacement. All right, the replacement of some components will require a setup procedure for a complete repair. And then it says here, if any of the following components are replaced, fuel injector flow programming must be performed. Refer to injector flow rate programming if the fuel injectors were replaced, where in this gentleman's situation it was, if the engine control module was replaced, or if the glow plug control module was replaced. That's all we need to do, guys. We don't need to do anything else. We don't need to make this any more complicated than it is. The answer is right there. That's all we need to do. It doesn't tell us we need to flash program it. It just says if we replace the fuel injector flow rate programming, and this is the step 2 process. I need to go into the client's tool to see if this is there. Okay, so step 2, we'll log into his device, and we're just going to follow those instructions. You can see right there, injector flow rate programming. We're going to click that. Okay, all right, and then reprogram injector flow rate. All right, and let's just say, for example, let's go to injector 4 and then go to change value. Okay, and then we're going to insert the digits. Okay. All right, and then once we're done with that, we're going to click reprogram. All right, now, let's imagine that that gentleman who called was my client and the car wouldn't start. All right, and he's out of a subscription. So this is what I would do. I would go and submit a data lodging. Okay, I'll find the relevant category, and then I'll make a description. Okay, I'll make a description of what the issue is, and this way my engineer can do several things. He can see if there was something wrong with the injector. Maybe the glow plug control module was faulty. Maybe there's an underlying condition. Maybe there's a software glitch. Maybe his software version is old. You can see the software version there. What if it's version 11.50? Okay. Once I submit that, he will take a look at that data, and he's able to see things that we on the surface can't see. He can see those things. So let's just imagine I got the engineer's response, and if he said, Kurt, there is an update that will fix this. It's a glitch. His version, if he updates the version of his software, then he will do it. That's when you can go and purchase your update subscription. Okay, you gotta get that information from an engineer. You have to do that, and that will avoid any headaches. And then also, as I said, he's able to see underlying conditions that we can't see. He can see which components aren't communicating, which, if the injector you put in was faulty or something like that. Okay, so this is kind of deep, guys. On the surface, you guys probably go on and you know not rush through things, but I don't know. Everything's in the details, especially trying to fix a car, you know. And as I said, knowing those procedures, what the manufacturer means, can also help you save a lot of time. All right, so things to remember, guys. Let's wrap this up. Look at the repair information to verify the replacement procedures. Okay, a lot of people, they, I guess, assume, and they say, hey, hey, can you program this? Yeah, I can program it, but you don't know the exact procedure. Okay, it could be different. According to GM, when a component needs to be flash programmed, they refer it to as SPS, service programming. Okay, when you see that, that means it needs to be flashed. If you don't see it, it doesn't need to be flashed. Okay. GM definition of programming means to change a parameter on the component or module. This might indicate that it's a coding procedure with a scan tool. Okay, this might help a lot of people out. All right. Fourth, to verify if an update will add the desired feature you're looking for, make sure that the support technician logs into your scanner to get the VIN number and submit the data logging to the engineer. Okay. And then lastly, if you're on the fence of whether you should, invest in an update, go ahead and book a diagnostic tool consultation with me, and I can validate if you need an update to fix a problem. And I can also give you some other strategies in terms of buying your updates and stuff like that. Okay? So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I know it's been a while, but yeah, I got some couple pretty good content coming up. And comment, like, subscribe, and with that, I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.